Oh my God, do I have something up my nose? This isn't a good way to... Oh, hey! Hi! It's me, Wilma Fingerdoo, with another Drag Queen Approved in my Get Ready With Me series. And, oh, I haven't even used... This is how new my palette is. I have to take the plastic off. So stay with me so you can see me go from this to this. So stay tuned. Oh, it's so good. I got it. All right, so I'm going to go into Vacation from the Ace Beaute Nostalgia palette with my Bristles E03 DM. It's their small blending brush. So I am just going to, when I do my crease, like I look at myself and see where the lid kind of stops, and I redraw my whole lid. I don't know if you can see this. I have a spot where I think my glue released. I don't know. That'll be interesting. I don't think I've had that happen in a long time. Oh, the trials and tribs, I tell you what. Also, I've been sweating. It's been so warm in Toronto. I don't know about where you are, but Toronto, I don't even know what the temperature is. Hey, Google, what's the temperature in Toronto today in Fahrenheit?
Today in Toronto, expect a high of 61 and a low of 39 degrees Fahrenheit.
Hey, Google, what's the weather in Toronto in Celsius? 61 Fahrenheit.
It'll be clear with clouds from time to time there today, with a forecasted high of 16 and a low of 4 degrees Celsius.
Yeah, like 20 degrees Celsius is room temperature, I think. So that's not bad. For the rest of this eyelid, I'm just going in with a Morphe 515 pencil brush. This is Picnic. So just want to stamp this along. I'm also going to take a little of that Picnic and bring it under there. So now I'm just going to take a clean blending brush. This is just one of my favorite blending brushes. It's from the dollar store. It was $1. I have 3 or 4 of them. I don't know whose line they were originally. It doesn't even say anymore. But they're pink, and I don't hate that. So I'm taking this blending brush and I'm just working that pink out. I just want to start blowing that out a little. Get it into that orange a little, not too much. I don't know, I think these are going on really well. As I say, I really like matte shadows and I really love color, but these two colors, orange and pink, aren't normal colors that I would have around my eye. So this is a little different for me. And I'm going to come back in with that orange, that Vacation. That's the thing I like about this Nostalgia palette from Ace Beaute. It kind of just looks like a Carmen Miranda movie. Do you know what I mean? All the colors, they're so great, and it's very tropical. Like, they're very warm and unapologetic. Some palettes I find can be quite timid. Like, they have bold colors. Like, there's one that came out from ColourPop, Colorful Camille. Just talked about it. Stone Cold Fox, and everything in it's a muted tone. Like, they're beautiful, but like if you want to mute something, fade it out. You know, mix it with a white. Now I'm bringing this orange down into. I'm gonna. This will all go into my nose contour as well, and this contour will come up into my eyebrow area. So I do want to fade this out so there's an easy blendable orange going on. All right. Whoa. And then I'm going to take another, this is my bristle. I'll tell you, Bristles Beauty was the reason I became aware of a pencil brush. This is their E05 P5 pencil brush. It is fantastic. It's the reason that I bought the Morphe pencil brushes. I bought 2 Morphe because they were on sale, the 515s, because they're so much finer a point than the bristles. But really, I think you don't need to go too fine a point with a pencil brush because you just put less powder, you know, and you'll get it. I'm now going into Raspberry, and I'm just going to darken this crease line. I'm just going to stamp it in lightly. I don't want to commit to it yet. It's our first date. I don't like to give up the goodies until I know I like what's going on. All right. Just take a bit of that pink. What's in my hand? Just take a bit of that pink, blend that purple out a little. Take a bit of that orange, blend that purple out a little bit. I like how these colors are going together. I have to say, they're blending beautifully. I was worried that that pink was patchy, but as I say, sometimes mattes, you really have to pat them down to build them up, and then you can do whatever the heck you want once you get all that color in there. Now I'm going to go in with another Morphe brush. This is the M574. I'm going to take Hiking. It's the medium brown. This is the darkest color that's on this palette, and I just want to warm up this corner a bit more. There, do you see? And then I'll take the orange. I didn't put any new orange on here. This is just what's on there. Let's just get that. Blend it in. Ooh. So what I'm going to do is the other eye, and then we'll cut the crease. All right, and so because there is no black or white in the Nostalgia palette, or the Oceanic palette for that matter, I am not complaining about that. You do not need black and white in every palette. If you've got one good black somewhere, I have the Alyssa Edwards palette from Anastasia Beverly Hills. The black and the white in this are spectacular. So I'm just going to take the pencil brush, my Bristles pencil brush that I was using, the darker purple to create more shadow, and I am just going to go into Beast. I'm not even taking that much. I'm just tappa, tappa, tappa. And I am just going to amplify, or I'm just going to darken this crease line because I just want it to really have drama. And the problem is, sometimes you can't get drama without black. And you can see how much, I mean, I'm going to dip again. This is my second dip in, but I don't want a lot of black everywhere. And I don't want it to get too black. Not yet. All right. Just going to blend that out a little here. Yeah, so we cut the crease. This I learned from Violet Chachki, not personally, just on a video, where you paint the edge of your lid, and do you see how it transfers so you get a sense? So I want my lid to cut up at least that high, but when I look straight on, you see where that dark line is on my that crease. I want to cut my crease right in the middle of that line. And I'm just going to stamp this at first. And do you see how I'm cutting right in the middle of that dark line? And then I'm just going to brush off whatever's left on the brush because it's tainted. It's got purple on it. You don't want that. So I am going to stamp. And don't worry about this being solid or perfect yet. We just want to start our shapes. You want to build up this white so you don't end up with like a pink or a purple lid. You want to try and keep your lid as neutral as possible so that the colors stay true. If you put a gold on here and you've got a purple lid, your gold may go purple, which when you've spent all that time blending, isn't a nice surprise. There. So, do you see how when I stare straight, you still get that idea that that's my lid line now. It's all moved up about 2 inches. So, I'm going to even this out, and I'm going to do the other eye. Don't miss me. And there we go. So, I tried to keep that as white as possible. You can see I've got as close to that darkness without it being the main thing there. I just want that suggestion of a shape, a contour. Now, this, as I said, is the Krylon Paint Stick 070 White. Because of that, I have not put anything on it. This is still fairly, like, this has been on my lids for a couple minutes now. Still a little tacky. So, because of that, I'm going to take, they don't make these anymore at Quo, but these, as you can see, these brushes are, oh, well, here. They're shaped like a fingertip. And the thing I like about that is it's really good for shimmers, as long as you use a setting spray. So let's just, I'm going to use this Morphe setting spray. Just using it up. There we go. And I'm going to take Fun. Now, I've just said to you I don't like using shimmers, but I'm taking this one because I'm going to just put it on the lid. I'm going to start in the middle because I don't know how dark this is. I might want to go to lighter gold, but... Oh. I don't know, that looks pretty good. Doesn't look too dark to me, I'll tell you what. This is a really good gold. Ooh. I think that this gold looks better in person. There's a lot of shimmer, but I have a lot of texture on my eye too, which minimizes the payoff of glitters, which is another reason why I like them. So I think what I'm going to do then is I'm just going to take a littler, same style brush, discontinued from Quo. And I'm going to take this Heat. This is one of the other shimmers, and I'm just going to put that on the side here. I want to get this to transition. From one shimmer to the other. And I'm focusing it up here on the arch because my eyeliner will come up quite high here, so I don't need to worry. And I'm really just putting this color on to just give some dimension. Do you see how it just gets a little darker? And then we're going to blend all of this darker purple and everything into this. In fact, I'll do it right now. So this raspberry, I'm mixing it with hiking as well. But I really want that purple mostly in there. Oh, something I didn't do. Ugh, I just hate it when I don't do this. I always forget to. The nice thing about being a drag queen is you can use a lot of powders because you're not trying to be dewy and fresh and young 3 feet from people or 2 feet from people. You're trying to be dewy and fresh and young from a stage. So what I like to do, I do like to bake under my eyes, but I don't bake for color. I bake for protection. This all goes down. I haven't put any concealer or anything yet, but this is all going down on my cheeks, especially the high parts of my cheeks, so that if I have any fallout, I can brush it away. It's gone. It's not even a problem. And I just want to say that the only fallout that I've had right now has been a bit of the purple because of this brush. It flicked, and a bit of the Beast from Alyssa Edwards' palette. Okay, next I'm going to start my eyeliner here, but I'm not using eyeliner. I'm going to use the Juvia's Place eye gel in black. I really, really love this. I'm covering a lot of my lids, so I find using just a regular eyeliner takes too long. And then yeah, that's more or less it. I'm going to have to go in now and set it with some black eyeshadow. And then once that's all where I like it, then I'll do it now. I'll just take the finer end of the brush. This brush came with the Juvia's Place eyeliner gel, and it came with 2 colors. It came with this black and then a taupe, which I really like on my eyebrows. I didn't use it today, but I really like it on my eyebrows. And there we go. Now I'm just going to go in with, this is just an e.l.f. blending brush, short blending brush. I'm going to go back in with Beast, Alyssa Edwards Black, and I am just going to powder as much of this as I can. I want this black to be as black as possible. So I'm going to do the other eye, and I'll be right back. There you go. I've set my eyeliner with Beast from Alyssa. That said, as bright as this gold does look on my face, it's not very reflective. So before I put any eyelashes on, I'm just going to go in with, this is MAC's. Oh no, this is Violet Voss. Violet Voss was the first palette I ever bought. This was the first palette I ever bought. I bought it at Sephora in Toronto. It's the Violet Voss Rainbow palette. Now, as you can see, I have used this. But the two reasons I love this. First of all, the greens. They're just lovely. Also, this black, it's called Eclipse. And you can't really see it here, but I'll try and get it to glitter for you. But it's got shimmer, like just silver in it. And I find that with a heavy black eyeliner, sometimes just a little glitter in it gives it a bit more life. In fact, I'm going to go into this Violet Voss Pearl here. I bought this palette because I loved all the shimmers, but that didn't realize I wouldn't need them. So it's been a love-hate thing with that palette. Oh, yeah. And then I'm just going to take some of the Violet Voss liquid eyeshadow, and I'm just going to dab it just so we get some glitter up there. Oh yeah, just like that. You don't need a lot of this stuff. I just like to put, as I say, just brighten it up. There, that's brightened up the lids. Yeah, do you see that? I found that yellow mixed with a bit of that rose was just weighing my eyelids down. And once you put the eyelashes on and everything, you have so little space there, really. So I think that's better. That's good. So now the next thing is the rest of the face. I bought very recently the NYX contour palette. Now, I have to say, I really like this. This is amazing. I don't have a lot of contours. I usually will use some of the colors that are in a palette, especially, this is why I like them to be matte. I'm going to actually go in with the NYX palette because it's not bad. The thing I love about this NYX palette, first of all the pans are replaceable. So if you really like something, for instance, for me, I'm going to definitely be using these two the most. I might use these. These are good warmer colors. This is a fantastic highlighter. This is just really, really nice. It's just a nice general, it's not white, it's not gold, it's just a nice neutral. And I will probably never use these colors. So the first thing I like to do is take my MAC brush. I like to pinch it too. I like to make it like, I know that you can buy brushes like that. I don't like those brushes. I prefer this one. So I'm literally just going into this one. It's not even called anything. It's the darkest. Also, the reason I like these colors is they're cool. So as you can see, I have my contour. I'm just going to do I almost brush it all back. I don't want a lot of this darkness going into my face too much if I can help it. I like to, here it's okay because we're just contouring around. Also, I want my cheeks to be round and full. I don't want, like, I'm fat. I don't have a gaunt face, so I don't need my arch to come from the height of my ear down to my mouth. I literally want it to kind of swoop up, but I don't want Jinx Monsoon Nike swoops. I want, oh, you're so I try and keep the majority of this dark color back here. You see that? Oh, carve it right in. And then buff it out. But we're going to buff it out with blush and stuff too, so it's not the end of the world if we don't get it all done. Now, I'm going to go into this lighter tone. I'm using the same brush. I'm going to just brush it. I have a towel. I use a white towel. It's not a makeup eraser, it's just a towel. And I like to run my brushes over it just to get some extra product off. So I'm just going to go in with a little of this because it's warmer. And I don't need a lot of bronzer because I'm a drag queen. I don't go out in the sun. I don't want children in nature. I got things to do, like contour my face. So, do you see how that just warms up that edge? I just want to look less stark. I don't know what it's been about here in Toronto, but we have been having sirens, especially at this time of night. Like at first I thought it was people that were still honking for the necessary workers that were out there slogging it. And then I thought, oh, is it like the other day actually, oh, it probably has something to do with Trump losing. But now it's like, I feel like every evening, what time is it? Yeah, it's like about 6 o'clock in the evening here in Toronto, and 6:30ish, and we have all of this madness going on. So, Trixie Mattel suggested this brush for nose contour. It's the M458, and because Morphe had a sale, I went and got it. Now, I'm just going to, she just goes straight down, but I'm not that brave. I'm just going to stamp it in a straight line. I like to bring that contour up into my eyebrow ridge if I can, just to kind of darken that corner just that little bit. And I like that contour to go into the eyebrow just a little. Seems very, I'm not used to this, so it scares the hell out of me. I haven't done any highlight yet, but what I am going to do is do that now. You can use, as a drag queen, I use 2 tones of makeup. I use a lighter one and then a darker one for the perimeter. And you can kind of see that here. So I don't want to go in too much because this is pretty white in here, but I am going to put on a lot of blush and colors. So what I like to do with the concealer is I just, you see a light? This is the Juvia's Place 24. It's their lightest one. I bought it because I thought, you know, all white people think they're whiter than they are. They're not that white. So I just got this. To brighten up my cheeks without going crazy. Let's just leave that for now. Let's take a little. Make sure your beauty blenders are, whether you use your fingers or a beauty blenders need to be wet, and here's why. If they're wet, it can't soak up as much product. The product will stay on the surface more, so it'll help you blend it out. And with concealer, because it's so thick, you really want to try and correct any problem areas. So, like getting into this nose contour a little, and blending it out, and then cleaning up under the eye, just getting all of that eye makeup. It doesn't need to go down your cheek. You see what I mean? You can pull that into the area to lighten. Now the problem is this stuff dries pretty quick. I should have moved this around a lot quicker. But it's not the end of the world. It'll still move. See, that'll blend out pretty good. I really like Juvia's Place. It's not that expensive. It's, you know, shipping always gets you, but like their foundation, which I love using. I use the Alexandria, and the lighter shade is Isla, and it's their I Am Magic liquid foundation. And the reason I like liquid foundation is because it's easier to smear all over. With the pan stick, it's so hard to get that to go everywhere. You know, look how white that is. See, that bothers me. I find that a little unnecessary. All right, so to warm all this up even more, we're going to do blush. Now, I don't have an actual blush palette because I'm not as much of a blush queen as some queens are. So this is my trusty MAC palette that I've created. These are the two blushes I use. This is Frankly Scarlet, and this is Flower Power, Petal Power. So what I like to do, again, with my MAC brush that I did my contour and bronzer, I just run it over the towel to get a lot of that darker stuff off. And I'm going to go in, I'm literally patting down this way on Flower Power. And with my, I like to just do that. Just right there on the cheek. Try and get all of that. And then, like that. I don't want this to come below the contour. I want this to stay above it. And then with this pink, once I start to get that color in, I like to come in under here. Just around the chin. Here, just to get that warmth back in. And then, with the Frankly Scarlet, same brush, just going back here. I don't need this to come in forward. I want this in between the pink and the contour, and I want it mostly back here. And then, just wipe the brush off a little. And then I go back in with the pink only again. This time I come in low. I want to blend as much of this back as I can. And again, just along that line, I just want a little warmth there. And then we can go in with this highlighter. This highlighter's good enough for me. I am going to use the Bristles EO2RL. It is a bigger blender. And I don't want this highlighter here. This is not the place for me. I want it here. I want to make the widest part of my cheek here. And by blending this into the blush, I'm going to get some of that pink in there. Also, this area of the cheek will be less textured than up here where all of my laugh lines are. So I like to just do that. And then, without doing anything with that blusher that I already used, I just like to swirl it back up over it just to try and kind of wrap so that when you smile, it's all just right there. And then, of course, you just want to put a little there, put a little there. Right. That's good enough. All right, so now the last thing we need to do is eyebrows. So for my eyebrows, I'm going to use the Alyssa Edwards palette again. I'm going to use Back Rolls, which is up here, and the Supreme, which is down here. I like to use two colors to get dimension into the eyebrow. So I'm just going to take a smudger, the Bristles Beauty EO4R5. So I like, because I've already drawn my eyebrows on more or less with my contour, I just take this powder and the smudger, and I fill in where I put that contour. I also like to bring this down, the darker color. Ooh, that's a good eyebrow, I won't lie to you. And there we go. Yeah, those eyebrows say there's a thought going on in my head. Okay, so before we do make lipstick, and eyelashes, I do want to take my Coty Airspun powder, and now I'm going to actually do some proper baking. You've probably seen me do this before. You just dip your powder into the lid, you filled it with powder, and you just get all that powder in there. And then, from the corner of my mouth, right under this line here, do you see how that cuts that? That's what I want. I want a lot of powder, and then from the corner of my mouth, right underneath all of that. It should be even when you've done it. But what this is going to do, this isn't going to do much. Trust me. You're not going to ruin your face here. But what this is going to do, I'm using the extra translucent Coty Airspun. It's got a touch of a pink to it, so it doesn't make me look stark. And it's just enough of a tint that it's going to lighten up your chin just that little bit. It'll blur everything together and lighten it up. So we're going to leave that for the rest. Now, so I'm using my MAC lip liner in Beat. I'm just going to give it a bit of a... always sharpen your pencils before you use them. Just give yourself a fighting chance, if you can. It's just helpful. Now, this is how I line my lips. I like them to go up here. And then up from the corner. And then for the bottom, I like it to lower. Yeah, like that. And then I like to ombre it out a little. Darken the corners. Oh, shoot. Just stuck this stupid thing right there. So, with your concealer, or your foundation, your shade stick, you can't do drag makeup without something like this, a shade stick of some kind. You need something that's a little more... These shade sticks are more like a Krylon paint stick. They're a little thicker, you want that texture. So now I can just correct this sloppy edge, you heard me. And just so that they're the same, I'm just going to correct this edge too. Take a clean little brush like that and I get some powder on it and set that. Just so you don't have any tears later. And then I've been using Breathing Fire by MAC. It's a nice matte pink lip. And then, here's where this pan stick comes in handy again. Just with the tip of my finger, I'm patting into that white. And I'm just going to and there you go, you immediately have that highlight, it gives you that j-j-j. And again, with that one thing. So there's that. Now, oh, I've got the Kat Von D tattoo liner in Dagger. I'm just using that for my mole. I always forget my mole. So I smile so I know where it goes, and it's just right there. Just like that. And then we'll take just a clean powder brush. Make sure there's nothing on it. And I just like to brush all of this away. Do you see how that just sharpens that line without, hasn't really changed anything. It's not really made my chin lighter, but it just gives you that extra definition, especially when you're head on. It just gives you that snatched little corner there. And now, it's time for eyelashes. And there we go. Got a little hair, we got a little eyelash, and of course we've got the Pearson Ryan earrings. Now, I've worn these before, but I'm wearing these because they go with my green top. I don't wear this very often because I used to do green screen, and so I forget that I even have it, but I need to recut it. I don't think it fits me very well. So, my final thoughts on the Ace Beaute Nostalgia palette. I love it, I love it, I love it. This is an excellent choice. If you're looking for vibrant color with solid payoff and you don't want to question it, Ace Beaute is definitely a good choice. Is it more expensive than drugstore brands? Yeah, but it's also better. This is the thing you have to remember with some drugstore brands. They're cheap because they're not as good. If they used better products and more pigment, they'd be cost more. Trust me. Between Ace Beaute's Nostalgia palette and the Oceanic palette, I can't imagine myself buying too much more as far as colors go. I mean, just these two palettes alone together, that's a full palette. You don't need anything more than that. This is going to cover almost everything that you need. As I say, there's no black and there's no white in these two palettes, but I've got tons of blacks and whites in all sorts of palettes. I don't need to be wasting 15 available spots with 2 that I already have somewhere else. So what does that mean for the Ace Beaute Nostalgia palette? It's drag queen approved. I would just like to say, regardless of who you are, what you do, as long as you enjoy what you're buying and you use it to its fullest, then I think that you are doing a fantastic job shopping through this fabulous world that we're in. If you're a magpie like me and you're distracted by good sales and sparkly packaging, well, then the world's not going to be your friend, is it? They want you to buy. They want you to stick your hand in your pocket and pull out money for them. So there you go. One product down, millions more to go. Until the next time I get ready, I hope that you stay healthy, happy, keep your hands clean. And until then, miss me. Mwah. Seriously. Yeah. I just said, yeah.